Hello, welcome back to the Vulkan tutorial. Hello World Triangle in C. Fantastic name. Okay, last time we were doing the validation layers and we completed them. I think the only thing we didn't get to, well not the only thing, but the debug messenger, or message callback. That was what it was. Let's get some music on as well. Hope that's not too loud. Okay, so now we're moving on to the debug messenger. Message callback. It's for debugging. I've read ahead, that's why I know that. I also make a few little notes on using GDB, the GNU debugger, to do some debugging on the executables, where you can step through some of the code. Just a little note on how I had to set mine up in Linux. The ulimit, which I think is the limit on the number of core dump files an executable can create, or maybe it overwrites the previous ones or something like that. But anyway, mine was set to 0. So I had to update it to taxi unlimited. And then also I had to do sudo system control and set the kernel core path, and that's a typo because that should be a dot. Kernel core underscore pattern to create the core dump files at the root of the executable, so / instead of some other weird place. I can't even remember where it was. Anyway, so that's where we were, and before we start, cheers. Lovely. Okay, so before we start, I wanted to just revisit some stuff that we did on creating these, using malloc actually. So malloc adds memory space to the heap, which is that non-contiguous block of memory. So it's non-contiguous, so you can get defragmenting, but it's like freely available for you to allocate stuff to during both runtime and compile time. But at compile time, which is what we're doing, it's probably not really any need to do that. We may as well just chuck it on the stack, because the stack's done automatically for you in the C runtime, I believe, and using malloc is actually a proper system call, which might be a bit slower. Not the end of the world, but I wanted to see if we could avoid using malloc and maybe declare these extensions differently. So instead of allocating the memory for the size of the struct multiplied by the number of them that we need, could we just do this? And I don't think we need that because it already is a pointer to the first element in the array. Let's try it out. I'm gonna just do this. And then we also don't need to free any of this. So that's good, I hope. And, I need a CD into the project. Cool, right. Build, did I say that? Yes, I did. Build, or you could do that. And game. And builds, nice. Oh, okay, cool, so we can do the same for this. Instead of using malloc, we'll actually just use the layer count, and we don't need that. And then we don't need to free. Let's just double check that again, and it seems to work. Excellent. Okay, that's a good little update. And we're not doing any more frees, are we? No, I don't know why it's a... No, okay. Right. Now to our message callback. So the validation layers will print debug messages to the standard output by default, but we can also handle them ourselves by providing an explicit callback in our program. This will also allow you to decide which kind of messages you'd like to see, because not all are necessarily fatal errors. Excellent. We could skip this if we wanted to, but let's just do it. Why not? Let's do it. To set up a callback in the program to handle messages in the associated details, we have to set up a debug messenger with a callback using vk debuggutils extension. Cool. First create get required extensions function that we will run the required list of extensions. Okay, this is just extracting this function call because we're already calling this function. I'm pretty certain we are. So we're going to be extracting this out into a function. All right. So doing the same thing again, and then calling this extensions function. Oh no, sorry, this is creating an extensions vector, which is an array for us in C, with the extensions and I don't know. I'm not sure what that does. But basically we're going to create, we're going to create another replica basically of these extensions, I think. Yes, we are, because then we're going to add one more to that array. A const chart star. One more of this particular macro, which must expand to something. The extensions specified by glfw are always required, but the debug messenger extension is conditionally added. Okay, so if enable validation layers is on, then we conditionally add that debuggutils extension. And yes, the macro expands to vk ext debuggutils. Using this macro lets you avoid typos. Typos are plenty. Then we can use the function. We can use the function in create instance, which we were doing already. So let's pull that out into. Actually, let's just do it here for now, and then we'll maybe pull it out later. All right. So we've got our extensions, and now we want to do to create an extensions. So we're going to do const char star extensions, and then if enable validation layers is on, we don't want to call it, we just want to know if it's on. Then we want to probably loop through the glfw extensions, which will be these, and add to our extensions layer, right? I think that's probably right. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's do that then. I gotta pause, hang on, sorry. All right, back, sorry about that. Okay, so we're going to do extensions, and we're not enabling that, defining that anywhere else. So for int I equals 0, I is less than the glfw extension count, and then I plus. So for each one of those, we want to add to our extensions. Let's do what we did before. So because they're doing const char star, it's an array of arrays, or array of strings, which are themselves arrays. But we are going to not use the second asterisk, because we're going to define the length of the array, which I'm not 100% sure how that works, but there you go. And then we're going to do +1, because this extensions we're only going to use if we are in enable validation layers mode. This. Okay, so then we'll do extensions. Nope. Whoa, hello. I equal to our glfw extensions, I believe, at position I. I think that kind of makes sense. And then after we've gone through all of those glfw extensions, we want to add our final one, which is this guy. Copy and paste. So, it'll be position glfw extension count, because it is already one above the index. Yep, I think that's right. Let's just see if we have any compile errors. And we do. Alright, extensions is config.types extension vk extension properties and vk extension properties. Oh. Const array plus 1. Yeah. Why is that a problem? Let's 1, 2, 4, which is here. Why is that an issue? It feels like it shouldn't be a problem. Uh, 154. Ah, I think it's defined somewhere else. Right. Whoops. Okay, let's not use the one that they have. Let's use something like glfw extensions with debug. What a brilliant name. Naming stuff is really hard in programming. Alright. There, that kind of runs. Let's give it a game a run. Yep, alright, cool. So now we know we're in the right zone. So, just appending that, and then let's go. Now we need to do extensions equal to that. We've already done that. We didn't bother breaking it out into its own function yet. Now I need to update the enabled extension count, depending on if it's debug mode or not, I'm guessing. Yep, because the extensions is here. Okay. So the way that they want to do it is, this could be useless if it's in debug mode or not, but either way we're going to be using this. So let's follow suit and kind of do that. This is where we do the check. Whoops, don't want to do that. Just reformat it, yeah. So we always update this glfw extensions with debug. And we're always going to use that. So down here, always going to use that. But the count we may not use. So we didn't set it to a const, so that's good news. So if it is, we could just do that, I would guess, yeah. And then we don't need to have this a second count. And this looks right. Yeah, so we update our glfw extensions count based on if validation layers are enabled or not. I'm quite bad at explaining things today. I must have a knackered brain. Alright. Maybe it's that. It's only my first. Cool. Alright, so we probably want to rename it to something a bit more useful. Available, I'll call this one available glfw extensions. And then we can call the other one just regular glfw extensions. I quite like the idea of doing that. So this one would be that, and you would just be that. GFW extensions, and those are available GFW extensions. It just rolls off the tongue, that thing, doesn't it? Okay. And if it is validation layers enabled, then we do add. No, we shouldn't. This is not C++. It's not going to do cleaning up for us. If we have an array of a size larger than the number of elements in it, and we're actually using that, I don't think that's going to be a good idea. So let's scrap doing that. Let's stick with the crappy names and just live with the bed that we've made. Let me just double check it works again. Missing exception support. Extension support. Oh yes, because I changed the count, didn't I? So we're going to have to keep track of the count as well. Gosh darn it. Okay. Okay. So we're not going to do the plus plus. Woo. Whoa, 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 whoa. Huh. Okay, let me just quit out of that. Where's Tim? You've done it again, you old fox. Okay. C, it's project C and engine. Alright. Build. Oh. Don't put the and there. Thank you. So it works. No idea what happened there. That was a bit weird. Oh, I have a little bit of chocolate. Don't mind if I do. Okay. So let's keep. Oh no, we have to dynamically update these based on this if validation layers exists. I mean, is enabled. I'll come to that in a bit. Let's read on in case we miss something. When I use it in create instance, we already are. We need to update this TP enabled extension names. Those are extension names, this is layer names. So it's an additional thing that we haven't used yet. Nope, it's not, it's right there. Okay. Let's do something else. In fact, I would like to initialize this to 0 first. And then if validation validation layers, actually no, I wouldn't like to do that. Sorry, my bad. I just would like to do it here. So here, where we know that validation layers are enabled, we are going to set this to be equal to GXMs with debug, because we're in debug mode, whatever. Whereas here we're not. So enabled layer count remains the same. This other one where we're doing these extensions, the extension count, pardon me, we this wants to be down here and the extension count is that. Otherwise we want to do +1, and I think that would work because then we'll be passing in the correct GLFW extensions with our debug and the updated count +1. And similarly, if we're not in enable validation layers, we just use the regular GLFW extensions plus the regular count. And that is saved, and let's just give it a compile, and it effing works. Excuse me. All right, moving on. We did indeed run the program, and it worked. Now let's see what a debug callback function looks like. Add a new static member function called debug callback. Okie dokie. with the that's some type, and with that prototype, the VK API ATTR and VK API call ensure that the function has the right signature for Vulkan to call it. Okay. All right. So up to the top we go. Let's first create our function signature. They got it as a static function, but like it's in the main.c file, so it's about as static as it's going to get for now. Let's do it here. So VK, I'm just going to copy that. Oh, I might copy all of it actually. I know copy paste isn't great, but it's working for us. So print f, there's your print, and we're going to do s and close off that string. And yep, p callback message data, p callback data, and then the p message within that. Okay, vk false is, I bet it's just false. Ooh. I kind of liked it before. Okay, so we have this fancy type. I don't know if you can even do that in C. Never seen that before. But equally, I haven't seen a huge amount of C code, so there you go. So, right. This is not just our prototype, this is our actual function. Okay. The first parameter specifies the severity of the message. Yep. The second one is information about the creation of the resources, message about the behavior. Yeah, okay. All these are different severity types. The values of the enumeration are set up in such a way that you can use a comparison operator. That's cool. So you can say if it's of a certain severity, do something. So like if it's a fatal, or what does it say there? If it's verbose, then we're just printing for the sake of printing. Probably somewhat similar for info. And warning would be something we want to properly print standard out. Or maybe even some sort of pop-up message if we get that functionality. And then the error will be program died. Or we're going to purposely kill your program. The message parameter can be the following values. Type general bit, validation bit, performance bit. So you can get like performance-based logging metrics. Cool. The p callback data parameter refers to the Vulkan debug utils messenger callback data extension struct. Contain the details of the message itself, with the most important members being p message, p objects, and object count. Finally, the p user data parameter contains a pointer that we specified during the setup of the callback and allow you to pass your own data to it. Okay, cool. The callback returns a boolean, indicates whether it should be aborted. Then the call is aborted to VK validation error failed. Okay, cool. All that's remaining now is telling Vulkan about the callback function. All that's remaining. It's a long, big scroll bar for if that's all. Perhaps somewhat surprisingly, even the debug callback in Vulkan is managed with a handle, and it needs to be explicitly created and destroyed. So we're creating another create info type. Such a callback is a part of a debug messenger, and you can have as many of them as you want. Add a class member. Yes, for the handle right under instance. Alright, so underneath this is our class member. What's the word I'm looking for? Our analogous class member. Debug utils messenger ext. Alright, debug messenger. Cool. Alright, now add that function set debugger message and call from within init Vulkan. Alright, init Vulkan. Actually, before we do that, let's create a prototype for that, of which is void doesn't accept anything. That's not a prototype. Does it not accept anything? Dubious. Alright, init Vulkan. Where are you? And then right after that we want to call it. We're almost certainly going to pass that app to it. I just have a feeling about water, you know? So app, pointed to p app. Alright. And let's build the function somewhere down here. Void takes in an app, which is pointed to p app. And it's going to say if enable validation layers. Oh. Oh wait, they're saying if that is not on, then return nothing. Okay. Let's just quickly compile that, see if it doesn't want to scream and shout. Twist and shout. Stop opening that. Okay. We need to fill in the chart with details about the messenger and its callback. Alright, so let's do that. What type is that? Something that is too long for me to type out. That's what type. Create info. Look at that. You've seen this rodeo before. Let's just add it all right now. I'm just gonna go whoop doop doop doop. I'm gonna fail to do whoop doop doop doop. Alright. Except you have to be that. Can you do a whole string of ors like that? I wonder. It's null. That is no longer needed because we're doing initialization. All right, we have our create info. The message severity field allows you to specify. Okay, so we can just put one of these, not those, sorry, one of these four in. 3, 4. Or we can put all of them, I guess, and say that we're just going to capture all of them. I hope that works in C. I don't really know, but we'll find out. In fact, why don't we find out by running it? Yeah. Turns out it works. You can do that. Ooh, reminds you of TypeScript. Okay. Similarly, the message type field lets you filter which types of messages you want to call back. Yep, that's the option things. Finally, the P pointed to function user callback is our debug callback, which is actually our P app debug callback. That's what we specified up there, I think. Yes. No, we didn't. We said debug messenger. It's not P app. Okay. Specify the pointer to our callback function. You can optionally pass a pointer to the P user data. That's if we really want to send that kind of data. Alright. I'll use this. We're not going to do that. No, there are many other ways to configure validation layers, messages, and debug callbacks, but this is a good setup to get started with for this tutorial. Thanks. There are docs on it. Wonderful. This doc should be passed to the VK create debug utils messenger ext, which we don't have. Okay. To create the VK debug message. Okay. Unfortunately, because the function is an extension function and it's not automatically loaded, we have to look it up. Let's look up its address ourselves using VK get instance proc adder. Oh wow, procedure address. We're going to create our own proxy function that handles this in the background. In the background? It's not really in the background though, is it? I've added it right above. Okay, whatever. Right. So this is the create debug util messenger ext function proxy. We could do that. Could we do proxy functions? Let's find out. I'm just going to copy it and then I'll see if I can translate it. I will put it at the... that's our debug callback. So it's not... Yeah, okay, fine. This will probably get... I want to say to do, move to bottom, to be eventually extracted to a source file. Excuse me, bit of a cough there. All right, similarly, to do, move to source file. All right, we're going to give it a capital C, evidently. Create debug utils messenger extension. VK instance, cons of that type. Let's change it to the way I prefer to do pointers. All right, so that's all the stuff it takes. We don't have this thing called auto, but we do have func of this particular type, even though we're casting it. Not really sure if we need to cast it, but we'll just keep it in. Bomber. Oh, no, it's fine. We're actually passing in the instance. All right, that's cool. If that doesn't equal null, then we continue and call it with everything we need. Otherwise, we return, yeah, nah, mate. Failed. That seems like way too many numbers. Okay, there you go. All right, there's our virtual function, proxy function. My bad. I think that looks kind of right. The get instance proc adder function will return a null pointer if the function couldn't be loaded. Cool. That would be when we exit, but we can only find that out when we call it. All right, where are we calling that? Second to last parameter again. Oh, here's back down to our setup debugger message. This one, yeah. So it's a if this call fails. So if it doesn't equal VK success, then probably probably throw an error. So print f. What we're going to say, failed to set up a debug messenger. Failed to set up debug messenger. And totally freak out at the same time with an exclamation mark. Right, and then error with a code of, let's just say 2, because I haven't figured out how to do that yet. Well, I haven't got around to doing that yet, but we have meaningful error messages, or error codes anyway. The second to last parameter is again the optional allocator callback. Yep, that's fine. Oh, we actually need to pass in the parameters we care about. So we've got our p-app. So the first one is the instance. So p-app instance. Then there's the create info, which we just created, but the pointer with the address of that. Create info or omfo. And then we have a null pointer, which is null. The debug messenger address, and that's it. Just those 4 things. Okay. Carrying on. Since the debug messenger is specified in the Vulkan instance and its layers, it needs to be explicitly specified as the first argument. You will also see that the pattern with other child objects later on. Okay. Fair enough. The VK debug util messenger extension object also needs to be cleaned up with a call to VK destroy debug util messenger extension. I tell you what, they are certainly consistent with their naming conventions. Similarly to VK debug util messenger, the function needs to be explicitly loaded. Oh, so this is another proxy function. Okie dokie. let's copy that and get ourselves right back up here again. Here's the other proxy. And I'll just copy that and put it down there. Whee. All right, our instance again, our debug messenger, and our p allocator. And yet again, we aren't going to have that, but we will have that type. Passing in our instance, and then we can say if the func doesn't equal null, the func. Then we continue on with execution. And we're going to use this likely down here somewhere. Oh no, we're not. We're going to use it in our cleanup probably. Where, yes, yeah. If enable validation layers is on, show me the destroy p app instance debug messenger null, and that's it. And then our VK instance is also destroyed directly afterwards. Yep, there it is. And I think we're good to go. But we're look to build. Oh. Okay, debug messenger doesn't exist. Hang on, if I made a dumb old mistake. It's on the pointer. Of course it doesn't flipping exist. Every time we call it, we need to say p app. Same over here. P app. All right, let's try that again. Oh, lots of things there. Oh, hello, what's this? Look at that, that looks like some sort of link. It's not what I thought it was going to be. Okay, cool. Looks like a debug message right there. Nice. Okay, so this type is incorrect on line 242. We are passing in the pointer. No, we're not passing. Do we need to pass in the pointer or the address? I believe it's called a dereference of it or something. Passing in argument, incompatible types. We passed in that type start. Okay, 242. Maybe it is this. Let's see if we have. Let's just do this debug. This build only. I did get rid of that error. Did you mean P error on line 244? I don't know. Did I? No. Oh, it's not error, it's exit. Ooh. Okay. Let's run the game. It runs. There's no messages though. Why is there no messages? Oh, crap, okay. Debugging, instance creation and destruction. Although we've now added debugging and validation layers to the program, we have not covered everything quite yet. The VK create debug utils message extension call requires a valid instance to have been created, and VK destroy utils must be called before the instance is destroyed. This currently leaves us unable to debug any issues with the create and destroy instance calls. However, if you closely read this documentation, which we haven't been because we're on this other page, you'll see that there is a way to create a separate debug utils messenger specifically for these two functions. It requires you to simply pass a pointer to a VK debug util messenger create info extension struct to the pnext extension field of the VK instance create info. So up on our create info, our our one for the instance, which is, if my mouse wants to play ball, I believe this one here, that's where we need to add a pnext, I think. Yeah, however, if you okay, we'll just try that. First, extract population of the messenger create info into a separate function called, you guessed it, boys and girls, populate debug messenger create info. Right. What's that ampersand all about? That's not how you accept an address in a function call, in a function definition. I don't care, it's weird. Right, let's just throw it. I'm gonna have to create it up here, aren't I? Okay. Let's create the function prototype over here. Because we haven't been particularly consistent with where we're putting things will be moved eventually anyway. I really think that's a typo. Okay, then we will define that at the bottom, and we'll actually call it something. From within there, we create our info. What type is the info though? I would like to know the type of the info, please. Yeah, maybe we need to pass in the info. I think I'd rather do that. Oh no, it is passing in the info. You struggle town. Surely it's going to have to be it's a pointer to that. I think that's the error that they made when they had the ampersand there. It's a pointer to that, so we pass in the address of that. Okay, I don't think we need to initialize it, but we can do s type equal to or minus equal to this guy. Oh, let's just copy all these. All right, so we've got that, and then all right, all those things seem to check out. So this populates our create info for our create the instance function. If I get it right, there it is. Excuse me. So we've got our create info object. The S type might be different then. So I guess if let's just comment that out. If validation layers are on, we probably want to do this then. That's kind of what they're doing here. Oh, that looks familiar. In our setup, debug messenger, excuse me, wow. Here we'll use that function call. So they just create the initialize create info, then they call that function with it, really without a point, without the address. And then create debug utils messenger extension, which we've got here. All right. Oh, those are all likely the same things, right? Yes, they are. It's just user data, which we have got null on. All right, awesome. So let's just create this as an empty struct and then call our function with the address of create info. Excellent. And then we can ditch all of this. We might want to keep that, I don't know. You know, maybe we do. No, I think because p user data is going to be passed in something. Let's just comment it out for now. Right, okay, cool. So we've got the same as all this. And then we are going to use this again by the looks of it. Yep, they use it there. So we're going to, oops, sorry, create instance function. create instance down where they create their create info. Exactly. So they've got to create info, and then they're creating this. Let's kill that. Keeping the S type here. And they're creating this create debug info. So this is for the startup or the create and destroy functions. And then it looks like that gets added to, so it gets populated and then it gets added to P next in this. Yes, right. Okay, excellent. So we can just do, well, before we call that, we need to create our actual validation. Why are they creating it outside of the if? I wonder. The destroyed variable is placed, hello, it's placed outside of the if statement to ensure that it is not destroyed before the VK instance call. Right, that's smart. Smart people. I think we have to do it this way in C. So if we have validation is enabled, we want to pass the address of that to get populated, and then we just steal this and say P next, set to the debug, the address of debug create info. And they also want to cast it. All right, fine. If you like to do that, you like to do that. No worries. Okay, else P next is set to null, which we weren't explicitly doing before, but let's do that. And enable layer count and set to 0. Yep, that was already done. VK create instance. I think we've already got that as well. Yeah, we have. Okay. Let's see what happens there. Ooh, so much errors. Incompatible type for debug create info. Let's just copy that and say, where have I added that? Oh, why are you incompatible type? Oh, have I given it the wrong name? I didn't. Populate debug messenger. That is the correct. Maybe I should do this. No, because we need to initialize it. Huh. We expected a, oh, maybe our, sorry, maybe our function is wrong. Now it's looking for a pointer. Let me just copy that here. VK debug utils messenger create info extension. VK debug messenger utils messenger create info extension. Why are you wrong? Oh, because you're trying to not. It's the same. Maybe my prototype is wrong. My prototype is wrong. It should be a pointer. Thanks, C. Help me right out. All right. So because we're passing in a pointer to a struct, we don't use the dot notation. Of course. Line 200 and blah, blah, blah. Which I believe is these ones. We're actually using this. Let me see if I can do this wonderful thing. Yes. No. Cool. There you go. Game. Logs. Searching for ICD driver name. Brilliant. There's some logs coming out. Did we initialize? Where's the initialization log? Thought we were looking for that. Unknown layers and libraries. Hey, excellent. Cheers to that. All right, the debug create info variable is placed outside of the statement to ensure that it is not destroyed before the. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I'm just gonna close this. Oh, right. So now let's potentially make a mistake to see the validation layer in action. Temporarily remove the call to that function to destroy. That is the wrong piece of software, and I just locked myself out. I am all over the fat fingers this evening. Right. Destroy debug. Where's the call to that? Destroy debug. Utils. Where is the call to that function? Oh, I'm not even calling it. So I need to be calling it from within the cleanup. Destroyed, yeah, it's right there. How weird that I couldn't find it. Okay, let's comment that out. Build again. All right, everything looks good. And if I quit, there's a heap of errors or logs, whatever. Excellent, so it does kind of work. What are they? All child objects created using instance must have been destroyed prior to destroying the instance. It works. Oh, that's so good. Excellent. That's really, really good. Okay, I'm happy about that. You might have noticed. To do move this to the bottom, I'll make that a function prototype. Or I might actually just delete it by accident instead. It's a pretty ugly function prototype, but there you go. And the second one, wait, just obey me, short keys. I am your boss. Okay. Awful. All right. And then down the bottom we go again. To do. Move to own file. Yeah, I'll do it later. Just double check that I haven't killed anything. Nope, we got some debugging going. And everything unloads fine. If you want to see the call to triggers messages, you can do the breakdown of the messages, callback. Yeah, okay, fine. Configuration. There are a lot more settings to behavior of validation layers than just the flag specified in this. Browse the Vulkan SDK and go through config directory. Nice. I won't be doing that just yet, but it's good to know that it exists and it's there. All right. This has already become a really, really long video, so let me quickly commit this and then we can come back to something else later on. Git status, git add main, and I won't add the nodes. I'll put that in the video. Git commit. What do we get done? Debug messenger. Adds debug messengers. Git push origin main. And that is a wrap, folks. Thank you very much. See ya.